everyone. How are you doing today? Well, welcome to Perfectly Imperfect Dotting, and I am Kathy Mahan, your host, and today I will be demonstrating how to use a stencil to create your own design instead of just copying the stencil. And I've decided to use what I'm calling the dark Valentine color palette, and I'm going to use all color shift paints. I have blue, violet, plum, purple, raspberry, red, pink, orchid, and gold in my color palette today. So if you're here, give me a little sign that you're watching. So type in the live chat, please, so I know you're watching with me. And we will have some fun today. So I'm just checking to make sure my feed is good. Okay. So there's 2 people watching now, and I'm probably one of them. Okay, hopefully people will be able to find me. I used to do this on Facebook Live, but I was having so much trouble with Facebook, I decided to switch over to YouTube instead. So, alright. So, if you will do me a favor, and please click down on my picture at the bottom right and subscribe now if you're not already, and it will help me a lot. I would like to get 100 subscribers so I can change my channel name, my URL, to Perfectly Imperfect Dotting instead of a bunch of numbers and letters. So, I'm just kind of waiting to see if anybody comes on because I had 75 people say they were going to watch. I don't want to start too early. Let's see. So say something if you're here. There's a chat over to the left side of the window, and you can type in there. Okay, let's see. Oh. Let's just give everybody a chance to get on here before I get started. It can take about 5 minutes for everybody to finally get on. I'm still learning how to use YouTube and OBS together, and so I'm still kind of looking to make sure I've got everything right. Don't want to keep it too quiet though. 5 people watching. Please say hello if you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, would you please go down to the right side of the feed and look at the bottom corner, and you'll see that little picture of me. If you'll click on that and subscribe, I'd surely appreciate it. Just going to give everybody a few more minutes to get on here because this is a big project. So it's probably going to take more than one time to do more than one of these to do it. And let's see. Hello. How are you? I'm trying to read this. Hello, Doris. I've got Flutter. Flutter Eye. Let's see if I can read it. Flutter Eye. Hello. Hello, Doris. How are you today? I know this is a new learning experience for everyone from Facebook. Hello, Cindy! And you're the one I created this for. And so I'm so glad you're here. Just make sure everybody can find the link and get themselves logged on. This is completely different from anything we've done before. Flutterby. And what is your real name, Flutterby? I hear we're going to have snow today, but I think they're lying. Colleen, nice to meet you, Colleen. Do I know you from Christina's group? Or are you in my beginners group? Because I now have 200 people in there, and I'm like, I don't know who's in here anymore. So, Cindy, are you excited? We're going to be doing this color palette here today. And I'm using all color shift paints, but please, you can use anything you want. How many of you are planning to follow along while I'm working? Are you going to paint with me, or are you going to just watch it again? And hopefully nobody thinks I'm a horrible person because I need to vape every now and then. Oh wow, 38 degrees centigrade. See, what is that? Where are you, Colleen? We were in the high teens this morning, but the wind blows so hard it feels like it's so much colder. I've got, I make sure everybody knows that these are the tools I use. I use DIY Mandala stone tools, which you can buy on Amazon or Etsy. And I use the tools from Christina Lee Meditation AU, as they are the best tools I've ever had. I'm not joking about that. I refuse to use the other ones now. I've got 5 or 6 sets of metal styluses. I've tried just about everything everybody recommended, and these are the ones that I like the best. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes, so I think we can go ahead and get started. What do you think? Excuse me. Alright, well, I'm going to go to the mandala. I call this the Kathy cam. And this is the mandala cam. And it is a little higher than usual. Hopefully you've already drawn out your stencil. Let's see. Wow. Can't get the whole thing in there. That's as high as it goes. A 12 inch is kind of hard, isn't it? Okay, so I traced the mandala pattern with my stencil on there. And I took my white pencil and started playing around with a few of them. I also have my protractor, I guess you call this a protractor, close by. And I was looking at it, you see, oh, well this looks like a heart right here. So I drew a line. And so that's kind of my point right now, is I want hearts don't draw it from there to here. And just draw it straight through. Just kind of divide that in half. Let's see if I can. Wow, I'm having a little trouble here. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see where I drew the line right here, in between these two. So it's like, oh, that kind of looks like a heart, right? And down here, it looks like a couple of hearts. Since it's Valentine theme, I'm going to play on that. And when I did my Halloween, so I'm going to try to draw. When I did my Halloween, I used a stencil and just kind of altered it a little bit. So I'm going to take this and just go, let's see, what did I do before? Come down to this little dot down there. And you kind of have to sketch it a bit. I know it's very hard to see because my design is so big. Come to here, and just kind of sketch it, and then you've got a little heart. You make that darker if you want to. And then I've kind of got hearts here, so I kind of want to just kind of curve that around. We're just kind of sketching it. We're kind of freehanding right now. And this kind of makes its heart too. So I was playing around to see what maybe I wanted to do. I really like having swishes up here, and let's see if you can see it. You can't hear me now. Oh no, okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm sorry you couldn't hear me. This just gets weird sometimes. It's showing me that my sound is coming through, but I will start over from where I was at. Okay. Hello, Zana. I figured that, Cindy. I switched over to a different audio input. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So, did you see this right here? I took this, I drew that line down, and I'm kind of freehanding a heart here. Kind of going around, make it look like a heart. And yeah, it's a little cheesy, but you know, that's kind of the point. That's a Valentine's Day stencil. Well, design. You know, if you see something you'd rather do, you don't have to do all these hearts. But I was like, that would be cool. And like I said, you notice these little round ones down here? It's kind of, I was like, wouldn't that be a good place for a, kind of sketch out a little, switch. That would be a good place for a switch, wouldn't it? So we're just kind of looking at it to see what we can do. So let's look at this one. It kind of rounds over like this. Let's see what happens when I take my stencil. I draw it all the way down the middle of this one. Okay, so now, is it possible we could curve? Would that look better? Would that look better? Okay. You can kind of draw a little heart here. Can you see okay? Huh. That's not coming out as good as it did earlier. Okay. So we kind of got a little heart going here. And this is one I would like some input on. Let's see. And we have these here, these little petals. I was like, oh, I could put a heart in here too if I wanted to. But do you think that's going to be too much? Or should we just leave it as a... Since you have to think about it for a little bit. What do you think? And maybe we'll just go from there. Maybe we don't have to do it. I've used this one before, and I made some really, really cool flowers. It makes a good flower. I mean, we could leave it as a flower if we wanted to. So I expect to spend a lot of time sketching this one. And don't worry, if you're watching the replay, if you need to watch it again, it will be available for you to watch again. That's what I like about the YouTube. I can put it in a playlist, and it's so much easier for you to find it. But this one will go under dotting tutorials instead of beginning dotting tutorials. Freehanding. I'm really not an artist in the sense of drawing, stuff like that. I trace a lot of stuff. Like the picture I did, the one I'm holding in my profile photo is a picture of the cat that I painted with dots. And I literally traced a photograph of him. His name is Yoshi, by the way. And I'm very happy to have all of you here. Hello, Zana. I hope there's not super lag on here. But I think there may be. Okay. So you guys like these hearts coming on? Well, do all of you? Does everyone like the hearts? I think that's kind of cool. You know, if we don't want to keep this, if you're using dressmaker's pencil or something, you can kind of just, we can erase what we don't want so we don't get confused later. Good, Cindy. So it's just, you would leave the center petals and the border and hearts. Okay. You can do that, Zana. You can do that if you want to. You can just leave it like it is. Okay. So, okay. Take some of this off. I'm sure I want all that on there. I'm debating on this one. This is like it'll be a giant swoop. It might be too much. Okay, we can clean it up a little bit. So all you're seeing is the pattern you want. You know, it'll probably be a bit of a novelty, but yeah, you can do it either way. You can put hearts in the middle. You can do flower petals if you like. I will probably give this one away to somebody. I bet one of the kids gives it to their teacher. These kids always like to take my artwork and give it to their teachers. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go down here, line these up. Kind of sketch out the heart. Looks like I forgot to put the dot down there. That is one of my biggest peeves about my. Sometimes I forget to fully mark all the lines from the stencil. Okay. Sorry, I was looking, I can't find my regular gold, so I grabbed one of my flash paint gold. I got the metallic 12-pack. I didn't get the pretty one. I ended up getting like 6 different colors of gold. I'm like, what is the point of this? Oh no, I don't like that. Okay. Okay. Makes a little bit of that. They look a little close together, don't they? I probably shifted too much when I was putting it down there. It does help to use like removable tape when you're drawing your stencil. If I was using a board, this would be a lot easier. I really don't like the I don't like stretched canvas very well. Okay, you come in here. Okay, I'm going to put my on mute. I've got to show. Okay. I stole the kids' pencil sharpener. It's electronic. They know where to find it. So we're just going to do this all the way around. And I found this one was kind of easy to just do from the bottom. Oh, it's got a quick question. Does anybody have paint pens? Like this? This is Craft Smart. You can get, they're all different brands. So, you could get PBO or something like that. I'm going to use a paint pen on some of this. I really like the way Mustafa has those gold lines around his work. It's like, I'm going to try to do something like that. Apparently my chat is very slow. Okay. There's quite a bit of black on this, I've noticed. Unfortunately. Okay. So I'm going to do some lines. I got a little off, as you can see. There's a little screwy right here. So I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to fix that. The best I can. I feel like Yoshi drawing out these shapes. Well, tomorrow I will not have purple hair, by the way. Probably be more of a maroon. This is kind of time consuming, unfortunately. But, you know, you've done something besides what everybody else is doing. You've made it your own, which is important. I mean, you might see something different you like. To me, I'm thinking this is like the ink block test. The Rorschach. So what do you see when you look at it? Now, I picked this one because it was the most obvious I could draw a heart on. Hello, Hedda from Hungary. Nice to have you here. Let's see. We're trying to draw out our mandala pattern. If you are just now coming in and would like more detail, in the description there is a link to the event page on Facebook where you can see the colors and where to get the stencil that I am using now. But then you can do this. This is called a Yoke water erasable pencil. And I used to use a stone line pencil. It's basically dressmaker's chalk. And I got 12 of these for like half the price of whatever it would cost me to buy more refill leads for the sew line. I found it on Amazon. It's called Yoke. And you can just search dressmaker chalk or something like that. Tailor chalk. But it works like a regular pencil. It erases really good. I mean, I just kind of randomly found this. So, let me see if you can see this. Am I not? There we go. Yuck. I know, it sounds funny. And I know it's from China because the box says it's from China. But it works really, really good. Okay, I'm going to go through here. You saw these little, and this, you know, this is basically how you can do stuff like this with any stencil you have. So I'm going to put a swoosh here, I think. So I'm just kind of sketching it out. Now these 12 by 12 stencils are designed for you to paint on a wall with. Excuse me. I actually used one of them to paint my nightstand. Actually, I let my 8-year-old granddaughter paint it, and she was just tickled I let her do it. So, okay, I think we've got a lot of hearts on here. Now we just have to decide what colors we want to start with. Or do we want to go ahead and outline some of them in gold before we start? Do we want to just, let me think about it, do we want to just paint these? Because that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? What if you painted these like red? And then we could put like a big gold dot here in the center. We could start with that. That might be fun. What do you think? I'm going to use these flash paints from India. So, and they're multi-surface paints. Whoops. They're really, really thick. And you don't want to make too big of a dot with something like this. But they're really pretty. Oh my God, a cat just jumped in my room. She only comes in here. Did you hear meowing? She only comes in here when I'm doing a live. I swear, that is the only time she comes to see me. There we go. I just give it a little stir to make sure it's completely mixed up. I'm using my handy dandy chopstick. So I saw Jamie from Mandala Love Affair using some kind of wooden stick to paint her paints and stuff. So I could pick the paints off. And I was like, hey, I can do that. I got chopsticks all over the place. You're not having any lag? Okay, I'm the one having the lag. So I was going to say jokingly, if you watch the gradients video, mixing gradients video, I was being goofy and had a lot of fun with it. So I was like, my handy dandy chopstick. Okay, I am going to use, this cat better not jump on me. Okay, I kind of did a color swatch. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job of it, of course. I'm perfectly imperfect for a reason. So looks like the blue flash. Oh, no, wrong way. Still learning how to do this. Okay, it's about the blue flash. That's a blue violet, and that's got some gold tones in it. The plum has gold tones in it. The purple, the raspberry, red, that was huge. The pink is almost like a purple. It shifts into a purple, and then there's the orchid. So I'm going to start with the center. I'm going to do gold with red, I think. I think that would be real pretty. Here we go. So I'm going to take my, remind you, I use DIY Mandala stone tools. I bought mine on Amazon. They are also available on Etsy. And I use Christina Lee Meditation AU tools. So I'm going to use this flat end, number 16. These flash paints work better with the flat end tools. So if you decide to get these, you will need to remember that. I didn't put enough paint on there, that's for sure. See how puckered, you see how puckered that is? Oh, my hand got in there. These are really, really thick paints. Sometimes you have to swirl them around with a metal tool. There. They're basically like glass enamel paints. Super thick. They are gorgeous when they dry. Okay, let's see. Alright. Ah! Accidentally hit manual. So it wasn't autofocusing. Whee! Okay. Now, does anybody have an opinion on flat out just painting that hearts right there with the red? Or should we dot them red? Should we outline them with gold first? That's all the questions I ask. I think they'd be really pretty if we outlined them with gold to match this. I tried to get the gold as close as I could to this one. Let me just shake up this paint pen. Okay. When you do a paint pen, I know you need to put that on a few times on a piece of paper. And just kind of take your time. You can trace, you can use a pencil, a paintbrush if you want. And if you've got the skill to actually maneuver this with a paintbrush, oh my gosh, I'm impressed. That's not one of my talents. I think that's why I took the dot art so well. Was because I don't have to use a paintbrush. I don't want to. And I know there's people out there that can actually dot with the paintbrush. I usually save that for top dots. Give it a couple of pushes and get that paint out. You can hear it scratching on the canvas. Okay, well, let's use some of this red. Some bright red of some kind. That's going to be pretty. It's already looking pretty. Let's see. I'm thinking that's the best way to do this. How about the number 4 DIY tool? I guess I'm just going to start outlining it. Use the number 4 tool. So far, so good. I feel like I'm intentionally making this kind of cheesy because I know where it's going. It's just fun to do a little cheesy one every now and then. But hey, some people like hearts like this. Yeah, I'm debating whether or not I want to do these dots. I think you're right, Zaina. I think I want to go ahead and paint it. I'm just going to take a brush. You could also use like a Josunya iridescent for this part. Because they're real pretty if you have those. Any color metallic paints you might have. So doing January birthstone, the garnet, and as part of this month's themes. And that's part of what I'm doing tomorrow. Is I use the garnet color for it's called my desert flower mandala. I'll be using that garnet color, and my hand just slipped. We can go over this with dots later with a different color if you want to. Use like a special background. Yeah, but you ever do that every now and then your hand, the tool just flips right out of your hand randomly. Or maybe when you're starting to cramp. Relax my elbow a bit. We're going to have to go over this again once it's dry. If you want it to be darker. If you want it really, really dark, you'll have to go over it 2 or 3 times because this stuff does not dry opaque. It'll give you an iridescent shimmer. See, now it's starting to look kind of purple. Yeah, the best mandalas, the best artwork, usually takes a while. And I'm not very good at recreating what I've done, unless I have some kind of a guideline. You can see on here how the paint is shifting. It's red, but it's kind of shifting to a purple color, isn't it? Kind of closing on some of the areas I might miss. Whoa! It is, isn't it? And then let's do my favorite tool, the number 5, Christina Lee. Yep, that's my favorite one. Christina Lee, dot meditation, number 5. Let's use the little ball. And let's go ahead and outline it now. That way we get the nice big plumpy dots if we use a metal tool with it. I'm going to have to fill this puppy up again. This is the one I did yesterday. That's the red. And when you dot it, it looks almost pink. Right there too. And with the hot pink. Yeah, this is good. Really like the look of that base coat. They're the exact same color. You can really see how it shifts when you actually paint it on something. And the pink flash will dry to like a fluorescent purple almost. Touch that over a little bit. There we go. All right. And just playing around with the settings just a bit so you can see it better. Just like somebody's home. Wow. Doing a little better if I take the time. Is anybody else painting with me? We're working on a different project while you watch me, because it's boring to sit here and watch these things. Unless you're doing it too. I think I may have had too much light on here for a little while. It's so bright, even I couldn't see it. It's starting to look like a cookie to me. Like I'm icing a cookie. I think it's the weirdest thing. Hi, David. How are you doing? Glad you can make it. So for those of you that may have come in a little late, if you haven't subscribed yet, if you look on the lower right hand corner, you'll see a little bitty picture of me. And if you hover over that with your mouse or click on it or something, it'll let you subscribe to my channel, and I would certainly appreciate that. Have you struggled with YouTube? I mean, it's a learning experience. It really is. I'm getting it down. Just trying to figure out a few things on the OBS, but I found this guy named Justin Brown. He's Primal Videos, and he's Australian, and he does the most amazing YouTube videos on how to make YouTube videos, and how to use OBS. He also does stuff like using your phone as your camera. He's just really, really good. I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars buying a fancy camera when I've already got a phone that has a pretty good camera on it. David did the most amazing, almost solid red mandala. He posted it on Christina Lee's group. Did you post it on your Instagram, David? David is Dave's.art on Instagram. He is amazing. He has lots of talent. We got a little cheesy with the stencil, maybe. We just started turning everything into hearts. Because when I was looking at the stencil, that was the first thing I was seeing was, oh, I could do hearts with this. The Valentine theme. If you remember my Halloween mandala, I have the eyeballs and the ghosts and the graves and all that kind of stuff. I used the stencil that came with this package for that. Because I thought the center looked kind of like a spider web, and Aaron had just done that like spider web type mandalas, and I was like, hey, I could do something like that. Oh, good. I'm glad you did. I've been so busy trying to learn this stuff, I have not really been paying that much attention to social media. And when I have free time, Reverend decided he needs to be glued to my side every minute. So I spend all my time with the 3-year-old. Last night we watched one of the Mickey Mouse Christmas movies. It's like, it's almost Valentine's Day. Why are we watching Christmas? But all 3 of these kids absolutely adored watching Mickey Mouse Christmas stuff. Okay. And last night it was just me and the 3-year-old for a little while. Okay. Let's start playing around with these. That fits. This is the number 12 DIY mandala tool I'm going to use. I am using a dotting tool. I've been using Christina Lee dotting tools. They're my favorites. Worth every penny, but she does not ship internationally at this time. It was just too much for her. Okay, what color do we want to do now? Should we do some purple? Maybe start with the pink. I used the brush to paint the background. I wanted to let the red flash, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I cheated and used the paint pen to outline the hearts, because that's just easier than me. I mean, come on, I've already flipped the tool today. Okay, I'm going to do these. Put a little more in there. I'm going to use the raspberry. It's getting a little thick, so I'm going to mix in a little bit. This really does come out more of a garnet red. Time for the handy dandy chopstick. Mix these up a little bit. If you feel like your paint is too thick for like swishes, you can always add a little flow medium to it. And I've got paint all over myself again. Now these paints are super thick, so they can be difficult to get completely off the tool. Okay, now I need my flat tool too. I brought the Christina Lee number 3. It has a flat end on it that I like to use with my bigger swishes. Let's get some paint built up on here. There's about 4 of them. I usually do several layers of paint with my swishes. And kind of swirl around just a little bit, even it out. And remember, these are really thick. So if your paints are a little bit thinner, you won't have to work so hard to get the swish. You just push the paint around a little bit. Until it's the shape you like and you're happy with it. Okay. Yeah, actually, Leona Hutter is a complete expert when it comes to using a paintbrush to dot with. I mean, she is amazing. Let me move some of these tools. They're getting in my way. You can see how thick this paint is. It's just sticking straight out. And if this wasn't color shift, this wouldn't be normal. Just kind of bouncing it on top of the paint to try to get much of the paint off of there. The other key with something like color shift is it tends to be very stringy. You have to really watch that your strings don't just go flying all over the place. Well, this is the Folk Art brand. There are plenty of other color shifting, color changing, chameleon type paints that are just beautiful. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy a Folk Art color shift if it's not really available in your area. Lower this down just a little bit. Whoops. And that is going to dry to a very dark red. I need a little more light so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to paint for another 45 minutes, and then I'm going to I'll finish this up and record the video later tonight. I'll do some more and post it to YouTube. You can watch at your leisure. Might even see if I can get it on Facebook Live tonight, if nobody else is live, after 8 p.m. because then Logan will be asleep. There you go. Oh, I bet they are, Cindy. So how are you feeling? Okay. You got this to work on. And these. Not quite sure about these yet. I think I'm going to use the number 5 tool and use the bigger end in my gold paint. And this flash paint you can just straight out of this bottle, but it is also very, very thick. Let's see. So far, Cindy, we have played around with the stencil, and I was saying you can do this with every stencil you want to use. You kind of play Rorschach ink blocks with it. Kind of try it. What do you see? In this one, I saw lots of possible hearts. I always forget to make sure my canvas is in the camera. I work from the bottom up, you know. I'm kind of trying to make sure that paint comes off because it is super thick. And I'm just going to outline the hearts, the big hearts, with gold paint. If you wanted to, you could use a paintbrush or your paint pen. If I outline them, I will stay within my boundaries better. Don't ask me what color of gold this is. I have no idea. My package of flash metallic did not come with color names on them. It's like, surprise! I think I figured most of them out. But it's still kind of, I have no idea. I think I want to use some plum on this one because the plum and the gold go so well together. So I've got 3 lights on my canvas and the overhead light on because I can't see worth a damn. I don't think I've ever painted this big of a canvas on a live before. Used to do them all the time before I took a break this summer. Apparently the cold weather is now messing around with my sinuses. I'm doing a lot better today though. I'll wipe my tool off a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit too much paint on it. So you can see how thick these are. And you could put them scoop them out with a palette knife and put it in a paint pot if you want to. Thin it down with a flow medium. It'll still work if you don't like the consistency. But because it's a multi-surface, if you plan on using it on anything like cups or glass of any kind, and you want to be able to wash it, you can't dilute it at all. Tomorrow I'll be working on my desert flower mandala that I started because of Christina Lee challenges, or whatever you want to call them. It was a challenge she made for the administration, kind of a theme actually, a monthly theme. So I'll be doing that one because I started that because of the garnet color. I looked for a garnet flower and I found this desert flower. Okay, so far so good. Okay, I'm going to put that away. You know, a little squiggle here, but I think I'm just going to keep working on this. Okay, now I want to use that plum. And maybe the blue violet because they go so well with the purple. The gold, I mean. Just made a mess. So I'm going to try something a little tricky here. Not big enough. Okay, I think we're going to use 16 or 15. Yeah, 16 will do it. When you use the plum glass and the DIY 16 tool, I am going to make a half-assed attempt to switch that. At least for part of it. Do you see those strings? I don't think you can see them. It is. Just poured a whole bunch in their pot because I need a lot. It's so stringy. I want to get lots of paint on there. Because it's going to be a really, really big fat swish. Okay. And it's going to be kind of weird looking. I'm going to try to follow along with the... Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, I'm going to write my tool out because that's a big one. Okay. Move this around a bit. Well, that's a really big switch, that's for sure. I think Mandala needs to set them could be a bit bigger than this, but I think it's gold glitter or something in it. I don't know. If you look at it really closely, it's kind of glittery. It's really nice. stringy this stuff is. You see that? You gotta kind of watch for that. Dreamy, it's stringy. Those are some big fishes, aren't they? Oh my goodness. Color shift, folk art says color shift needs about 48 hours to fully cure. So hopefully those will be completely dry in 48 hours. I'm scared I'm going to mess everything else up though. Okay, let's try a little of that. Blue and violet. Use a little pink there. Hi, Nicole. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to make sure I get my canvas back on the screen. There we go. Fab. Are they ab fab, David? Okay, I'm going to use a little blue violet because it has some gold undertones in it. Let's see. I'm so glad I've gotten to the point where I can kind of judge where my paints are going. You get them just close enough. Now that was a tricky for me for the longest time. And then let's do a little bit of water dots to bring it down. There we go. Figure we'll do this one heart, and then if anybody wants to work on the rest of it later, we'll be consistent for all the hearts around. So, and then later tonight, I may go back. I will go live or I'll record myself painting the smaller hearts on the side of it. These. I'm pretty sure I'm going to outline these with the paint pen first. And the way this stencil is designed, you could just go ahead and just do the flower instead of making a heart if you wanted to. So I'm using Christina Lee's number 3 tool right now. I'm using the big ball instead of the flat end. I used the flat end to make the swishes. And it really is just perfect for making swishes unless they're super teeny tiny. And then I'll get out that clay pro needle tool I bought and file down a little bit. Just a tad bit more on there. Okay. Now these color chip paints are super thick. And the flash paints, Christina says you don't want to mound them up too big or they'll turn into raisins. Finish working the top, so it'll taper a little bit. There we go. Okay. Nobody has to follow my color scheme. You can do any colors you want that fit your mood. Okay, I've still got this number 3 tool out. I'm switching over to the purple flash. Let's see. That's really not going to work too well, is it? I'll try something. Hey, that was the purple flash. I think I'll try some pink flash. But the pink flash turns in almost, has like this color in it. That's what it turns into. Let's see if I can get this down here without it completely touching. Oh, never mind, it's going to touch. But I don't mind that. I don't like them. Now that's not going to stay pink completely. It is going to dry to more of a purple sheen. Bubble there. Okay, switch over to the orchid. I didn't use any of this yesterday. It's super thick. I need to put some more in there. This isn't anything like that pink gradient where it's like super bright, Pepto-Bismol pink. Then this is blue violet. Gonna fill that in. This is pink blush right here. The easy part is you can just kind of draw this in there. I tell you, I can tell it's been almost 2 hours because my back is killing me. Move it around a little bit so I can get to it. Nicole, it's just play the ink blot game. You know, the psychiatry test, the Rorschach ink blots. So you just kind of look at it. What do you see? You have to kind of use your imagination a little bit. But if you look at the stencil, it says, I was like, oh, I see a whole bunch of hearts on here. And I used a different one because it looked like it had a spider web in the middle. And it turned into the Halloween mandala I made. That one needs a little more paint, that's for sure. And I'm just kind of randomly doing this. I just do it as I go. I never really plot anything out. It stifles my creativity. Oh, because at this part, I'm thinking, I don't know if it's going to work now because of these dots. I won't be able to do the great big part in it, too. Maybe this is just outline this in gold. I'm trying to decide if I want to, I want to let that dry before I do anything else to it. I'm sorry, Cindy. And which Cindy is that? Is that Carson's Crafts by Cindy? Will it let me look at your... Okay, let me go to your channel. So as you go over here to the side, I can go to your channel. I can report you. I can remove you, your comment. I can put you in timeout. I can hide you, and I can add you as a moderator. So if anybody wants to be a moderator, be my guest, let me know. Next time I go live. But like I said, I go live. I'm going to switch to Kathy Cam. I need to figure out how to do this. There we go. Kathy Cam got a little messed up. Okay. I need to figure out how to use the keyboard shortcuts, but I don't have a keyboard. I don't have room for a keyboard. So, I think it's funny. If you need to learn how to mix gradients quickly, or find the center of a circle, I do have videos for that on my channel, and they're just very simple. So I learned them by watching videos. I've watched Jamie to learn how to do the gradients, and it's just like, oh yeah, man, why didn't I ever think of that? So, oh my God, for real? You couldn't just log on? That is so odd. Well, now you have a YouTube channel, and if you want to use it, I will teach you how. So I've been watching these videos by Justin Brown, a Primal video, and he has some great stuff on there. You know, and you know, I don't sell, I don't charge for any of this. It's just a good activity for me to do to keep me out of trouble. And I will get into some trouble. So, we'll just kind of, I'll keep working on this. I'm going to try to figure out what to do. Sometimes you get in a rut and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. So you just let it sit. I like all the rest of it, but I'm just going to let it sit. I'll see and decide if I can do some of the more swishes on there. But they're touching the gold dots, so I'll have to be careful. That is odd. That is very odd. Did you log on with the Google account? I mean, I used to be able to, oh, I don't know. No, I never had a channel. Not really. I kind of did. But it's really just testing to see how the captions worked. And that was 2-3 years ago. So I think I finally got it right. And just if you're watching and you're on the replay or anything, if you don't mind, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that. Because I'm getting tired of youtube.com/channel/ and I can't remember it. Thanks for subscribing. About 75 subscribers right now. I'm so excited. So far, nobody's disliked my video. This is the first one I've had more than one person on here with me while I'm live. So I may try some Facebook. It may have been my computer. I don't know. You know, doing that when I was just on my phone too. So I'll keep working on this, and I'll probably just do some random time posting it. It's easier just to do a live and let it stay up there. Even figured I had to edit with the YouTube editor. So it's kind of interesting how that shines like that. I like it. Okay. Well, I'm going to let 78 now. Sweet. I'm going to let you guys. Thank you, Nicole. Well, thank you guys for watching with me. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun having people to talk to. And if you have any questions, just holler at me. If you're on Facebook, just find me on Facebook and send me a message. I don't think you can send messages on YouTube. So, it's a 30 minutes to rest before somebody's got to pick up the kids. I'm hoping it's my son-in-law. There's Daddy. He's probably listening to every word I'm saying right now, too. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you all go. You have a great rest of your day, rest of your evening. You're very welcome, Cindy. And we'll just keep playing with it. You know, this one's going to be a bit time-consuming because it's so big. So, but it'll be worth it. And you'll know what you're doing now. And if you want to play with some of them, we'll do another one sometime. All right. Well, thank you again and have a great day.